Good morning, Greg.
Good morning, David.
How's it going this fine day?
It is going just wonderful.
Even better because there's a long weekend this week. Oh,
No,
I
but
made
but
myself
even
sad.
even better because my son is now home from Victoria and home for Christmas.
Home for the holiday.
Yes, so that's lovely. We're happy to have him home.
It's like the shameless plug I did for the Christmas song I did on my channel, Home for Christmas.
Home for the
Home for
holidays.
Christmas. We did it. It's exciting and cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of almost Christmas, have you heard we're running a contest?
We're running a contest. Tell me more.
Tell me more. Why? Well, pushed the wrong button. Sorry, everybody. That was smooth. We're running a Christmas contest, and this year was AI generation. And if you missed it last week, we went through some of the tools that you can use to enter the contest.
And
Pretty
I made
cool.
a lovely couch or chair.
Good morning, Gary. And yes, it was weird. Greg made a chair, but by accident. It was great. So just some of the specifics. You could win one of $250 gift cards to Spool 3D. Thanks, Spool, for sponsoring the contest once again. Anybody can enter. The print deadline is actually in a week. So next Sunday, we would like to have all the models in. If you are entering, and how does one enter? Well, that's easy. You either send your model directly to info@3dmakeit.ca once you've generated such models, or you put it on a site like Thangs, My Mini Factory, all that stuff. Put it up there, share the link with us at info@3dmakeit, and then we will, again, we're going to try to print them all, and then hopefully we'll have kind of like a model off and see who's
we'll
who.
show off the models, and then do a great spin-off.
On the 17th is when the actual contest closed, but then we probably don't have time to print them. So if you didn't, Gary, for sure you should pop over. We went through, I think, 3 of them, and one of them was hilarious because it didn't turn out like we thought. It was a couch, and we're like, oh, okay, Christmas couch. But drop into the contest. Thanks again to Spool 3D and the guys up there for sponsoring. It is it's sure fun, and we like to run it. And then we announce winners, I think, on the 22nd, which was
our last stream of the year.
Yep, of the year. It sounds so doom and gloom when you say it that way, but the new year starts. Yeah. So so anyway, there's a contest, and you should enter it, and that's the takeaway from that topic there.
You don't have to do very much work. You just have to generate it with AI, and
you have to type a word, and you're good.
or a picture, upload a picture, or whatever. There's lots of different ways to do it, like we said in our video. So and you are not limited to the ones we showed off in the video, by the way.
No, you could use whatever you want. I love Gary's comic. AI, make me a spaceship. Sorry, best I do is a couch.
It was supposed to be a squirrel, a beaver.
It was hilarious.
It became a couch.
Turned into a couch. So, again, join the contest. You should. Yeah, it'll be good chances of winning, and it'll be fun. So I'm gonna push the button because I fixed the button, and now you can do the thing.
Woo!
Do it, Greg. Do it.
All right. We'd like to thank these lovely people for joining us on Patreon. If you want to join us, go to patreon.com/3dmakeit. But we'd like to Jim is at the top, and
Helge.
Oh no, wait a minute. Helge is at the top, and everyone else on the list we want to thank for supporting us. The great.
You guys are great.
So we have a wonderful GitHub that if you are a paid member of Discord, or sorry, Patreon,
Your
you get to
struggle
join
bus.
us.
You're
Join
going with
us
the
on
struggle.
Discord, and
Discord.
then you can share with us, and we can help support you if you have questions, and if we have questions, you might help support us. So it's a really great way to interact and whatnot. So and we have lots of good interactions
Mm-hmm.
on Discord, and there's a number of different levels. We've got build plate, tree supports, and what's the other one, David?
Dissolvable.
Dissolvable. Yes. So those are our three levels of support. And feel free to join whichever one you want. There is a free tier, but the free tier does not get you access to Discord. So if you'd like access to Discord, then
This is
join us
basically a
on
follow. Yeah.
one of those tiers. And thanks everyone for supporting us. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and everything else. And join us by entering the contest at info@3dnaked.ca.
He did it, and that was great. So, today, we're going to talk about a few things. Greg found a neat thing that we'll talk about very first, and it is
And I
an
believe this came out.
inductive hot
Yes,
end.
I believe this came out of Discord, but it's kind of cool. So there's a couple of videos online of it in use, but basically here I can
I
share
have it.
my. We got okay. So the inductive hot end, it's kind of neat. It's a longer nozzle with integrated cooling and whatnot, but it's really the neat thing is the how rapidly you can increase and decrease the temperature of it. There is a separate special controller that you have to use to heat the hot end, but I think it's something that could be really in maybe a multi-axis printer where you're doing like the curves and stuff. But that might really open it up a little more. They did show it off on a standard Ender style printer,
Mm-hmm.
and he had to programmatically change some of his G code in order to rapidly change the temperatures. But he was showing off how if you're doing, let's say, a curve where it might droop, you as you're moving up the curve, you lower the temperature. So, and it rapidly lowers it so that when you get to the top and curve back down, it doesn't droop and whatnot. Then he also was showing off where you could, because it's so quick to change, you could heat it up and get better flow, or you could lower it and then do some massive bridging. Like he was bridging from one side to the build plate to the other with very, like, I mean, the bottom of the bridge obviously still had the little, because you're bridging over midair, you still have some droops, but it made it all the way across, and then the next layers were supported fairly well. So it's pretty cool. So if you want to check it out, you can Google it on YouTube, and he's got a bunch of videos. But yeah, it's
Google it on YouTube.
I know, or search it on YouTube, or
nice.
Google it, and the YouTube link will come up. So
I love it.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was kind of unique because we haven't really seen too much innovation in the hot end space in a while. We've seen like longer melt zones. We've seen some of the multi-board tips. So you've got multiple zones to slice and melt your filament and get a more, all-encompassing melt and whatnot. But this is the first time I've seen, a complete change to the standard heat cartridge kind of development that's been going on for years. I don't know. What are your thoughts, David?
Well, my first thought is it's $600.
Oh yeah.
So you really want to have it. Like, so induction's been around for obviously for a long time because it's science. But like it does make a lot of sense in heating a hot end to use induction just because of the, like you said, like the heat curve is actually a lot faster. I don't see the cooling curve being necessarily faster, like unless,
They
hold on, I'm gonna click this picture. They do have like a whole like a hot end kit. It looks like that comes with like a controller and stuff, but I
Yep.
don't see like
Yep.
I don't see a fan necessarily. So like you'd have to have some sort of good cooling at the hot end, so that like
Yep.
if when you were using the like the curve turnaround stuff. So, but
Yeah.
like I see value in it. I just it's
It
probably more geared to the like either the prosumer
I'm thinking,
market,
yeah.
right? Because
Or
like
development of like the 5-axis, where they go
yeah,
do
yeah,
the
like a
the
robot arm too. I've seen those
yeah,
ones.
right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, like would I go and get it for my house? No.
No. But
And
I thought it was just the it was nice to see someone thinking outside the box,
mhm.
right?
Oh, for sure.
And
It looks like they have like a printer too that you can buy. Probably with it in. It's $18,000, so we can only buy one.
yeah. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting in in that regard. Some of the cool stuff. So I just thought it's one of those things where um moving the needle ahead, sometimes there's like little bumps like this, and then all of a sudden other people catch on to it and then realize how they can really exploit it to its full potential,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
And
Like this is a product that could be like with the mosquito from Slice. That's probably I would say that's one of the last big leaps
right.
forward in hot ends. And then by other people we mean like the one road in Shenzhen. They'll get it and then copy it and clone it and then um
Yeah,
yeah. I'm sorry. Gary's like, did they put an extra zero on that price by accident? I don't think so.
I don't think
I
so.
don't think they're stuttering.
So there's a full controller that's quite big that is needed to rapidly change the inductive heating. So I think that's where most of the cost comes in, is the back end electronic sides that control it. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's kind of like I said, it's not for everyone, but you know when something comes out like this, when it first comes out, it's one of those things. Like it definitely costs a lot, but hopefully it'll people will look at it and innovate and bring the cost down. You
Innovate,
know,
iterate, and then that competition definitely spurs like that invisible hand feeling, and
right?
it brings all the market in. So, um, I got a thing that I would like to talk about next. No segue though. This is a completely different thing. So we're talking a hard break. There's no
Uh,
jokes. There's no segue. My camera's
well,
pointing at the wall.
I think you just made a segue.
Oh, I did. That's true. So, it kind of circles back to the contest a little bit. But I'm gonna just flip to my screen capture, and you might want to go live on YouTube so you can see it right away. Maker World's Maker Lab, so that's Bamboo Lab. They have
Yep.
a Christmas ornament maker
But we
now.
talked about that last week. We didn't show it, but we talked about it.
Yeah, but look, I'm making one because it's gonna segue into the next topic.
All
So
right.
then we could choose how we want to make our ornament. So again, this is like kind of an AI tool. I don't know to what extent like it would like use generative or not, but what do we want? Do we want to make it a cutout ornament or do we want to make it solid?
Cut out.
Okay, Greg wants cutout. We're doing a cutout. Right. So you get like the tools and the paths in here. So what do we want to do? What does this button do? Oh, look at that. We can start with a template. Do we want our template to have snowflakes or reindeer? Snowflakes or reindeer, people?
Um,
Let's go snowflakes.
Gary, what should we have? Snowflakes or reindeer?
Oh man, I kind of want I want kinda. What do you mean swap template? You didn't put anything on my first cutout. Oh, I see. Ring numbers. So like ring numbers is the amount of stuff in the middle of the cutout. So we can increase that. That's kind of neat. And then I want 3 borders. Now, is there like, oh, okay. So there's different emojis and stickers we can use. Okay, so
Yeah.
I found the stickers. Reindeer it is. Okay. So let's see if we can find reindeer in the list. Reindeer. Am I blind? Reindeer?
I don't.
Reindeer. They had like one in the other screen. You might have to pick something other than rain. Aha! Oh, it's just called deer. Okay.
Okay, choose deer.
Um, there's one that looks like it's something you would mount on your wall. I'm like, I don't think we
Oh,
want that.
there's some pretty fancy ones.
Okay, let's
I
add.
like the ones with the loopies.
Okay, so I added this one in. Okay, the loopies.
Yeah,
Oh, like with the antlers with the loops.
yeah, the fancy loopy antlers.
Okay,
I
let's
think
get a
that's
fancy. Let's get a fancy loopy antler. Let's get stickers, and then deer, and then we'll get fancy loopy. Let's use this one. That's pretty fancy. And then so I like it because it has like the snap feature, right? And then that's pretty good. Let's see. What else do we want? Do we want text? Maybe. Should there be 3 reindeer? Yeah.
you could.
Let's
kind of like going up kind of thing, like flying.
Yeah, I like it. I don't know if I could fit 3. Well, like obviously you can resize them, so let's resize them. Oh yeah, one more. Mm-hmm. Ho ho ho! Look at that. I'm making a model. So that's pretty good. I wonder. Actually, yeah. Let's start that one in the middle, and then this one can go there, and then this one would go just there. That's pretty good. I like that. Text. Oh, so they have predefined text. Should we put let's use this one. Looks like Charlie Brown.
They have a background too.
But I think the backgrounds would make it not solid. Like, you mean the plate or the?
Well, it's the third one after. There's emoji,
Shape.
shapes,
Yeah,
and
then
then
shape SVG.
And what's yeah. I don't know if the SVG, if you can have like a background scene or something behind everything.
Well, that would load your own. Like if you had a template for like a reindeer or something already.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you could.
Okay, so now I have a ornament that says Merry Christmas, with some reindeer. It looks pretty plain still, so maybe we should add some stars.
I
Huh?
like, stars would be good.
Put some stars in there.
Snowflake.
Oh yeah, snowflake's good too. Let's try snowflake because apparently stars didn't work. Oh, this is a good one. Yeah. Okay, so let's put some snowflakes up here, but in perspective with the reindeer. Good. Put some here. Put some here. Put some here. That's a lot of snowflakes. And I love it.
There you go.
Ho, ho, ho. And we did it. All right.
Very Christmassy.
Very Christmassy. Let's see what the 3D looks like. So, like, it won't work.
Is everything floating in midair? Because
there's no plate. So, like, but what's the point? So, if we go plate here, though, and we go solid, then it'll work. And then we'll just make sure plate. And then let's do
there
number 1. Yeah, that'll work. And then we can move around our snowflakes a little bit here.
So and then you could change the colors of the snowflakes, like in
Yeah.
the background and whatnot.
So like we could be like, hey, snowflake, be a different color. So if I were to select snowflake and then the color, I could be like, make my snowflakes gray. I wonder if you can do a bunch of them at once. Oh, you totally can. So make the snowflakes gray. Make my Merry Christmas
Red.
red. And then this reindeer will be green. And this one will be red. And this one will be green. Nice. No, red. Whoa. Stay in a pattern, people. Yeah. Okay, Merry Christmas, reindeer. Perfect. Download. So it gives you the option to download the 3MF. 3MF has the SVG file. So if you wanted to take this to a laser cutter after, you could do that from this file as well. So it's just kind of cool. Let's download it. Perfect.
And this would qualify
For the
pretty close
contest.
for the contest as well, because you have to
Wow.
generate it.
We generated it. Okay, so I just wanted to run through Orca Slicer for a little bit this morning. Lots of 3D printers came out Black Friday. Greg and I kind of talked about like the Bamboo Studio and the Creality Slicer. Well, Orca Slicer is both of those and a few more together in a much better package. So here's Orca Slicer. Yeah, I'm gonna try to make one and laser it too, Gary. I think it could look cool. Or the other thing is, we could make one and then we could make we have those like light up things like on my desk with the acrylic.
Oh,
That
you
goes
could just
in.
etch it. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe we'll try that. So Orca Slicer, it looks actually very similar if you remember to Bamboo Slicer from a couple weeks back. It does give you the option to log in to Orca Slicer, and it does use the Bamboo networking drivers as well. So that means, in essence, first and foremost, it clones Bamboo Lab Slicer, so Bamboo Studio. And so once you log in, but you will notice like one of the biggest differences between Bamboo Studio logged in and Orca Slicer logged in is the homepage here doesn't actually load like the model repository. So you don't get all of the model options that you do off the hop. Yeah, so no, I don't want to. So you can see like on the home page here, on this one's the Bamboo Slicer on top right now. I have all of these models available to me right from the get-go. So like I could just pick planetary gears from here, and then it'll take me to the model and I can open it right from the slicer. So that's one thing that's actually like notably different. It's probably one of the only things that's notably different. Kenai might say, hey, there's a calibration up here, and I'll show that in a second. There is a calibration up there, and it actually comes back in Orca Slicer too. But the other notable difference between the two slicers, and I'll show them both here, but if you go down and you select different printers, so like we have our printer options, you can create a printer, all right, you can choose a printer. The printers actually, there's a few less options obviously in Bamboo Studio. Like they do have other printers, so Bamboo Studio is viable for lots of like different brands, Creality, Anchor,
Will it
Anycubic.
sync with an AMS?
So that's a good question, and the answer is yes, it does. So I'm gonna close Bamboo Slicer here, and then I'm gonna go to prepare. The only thing I did on this screen for good information is I logged in. There's a login button in the top left, but once you go to prepare and you actually select a Bamboo Lab printer, so I'll select my P1S here. you can see a few things happen. The calibration comes back up top, and then the AMS options will appear. So the multi-material and stuff will appear in the filament area as well. Now, my network recently changed at home, so the IP address probably changed on the printer. So I would have to find it again. Yeah, it found it. But yeah, it has all the MS options in here and in the slicing. So if you had objects and you wanted to
It
bring
looks
them
very
in,
bamboo, just from
super
it, like,
bamboo.
right?
And that's why it's like it's almost 100% bamboo, but not quite. So you can see the STL file that I downloaded. It's okay for the ornament. However, it doesn't have like all of the coloring information that we put into it. Where did I put that screen? Here it is. So if I wanted to maintain my color now, I instead of downloading the STL, I would download the 3MF.
The 3MF. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, there we go. Perfect. So I'll just grab that and bring it right into the slicer here too. I'm gonna import the geometry first to show what that one does. So I imported the geometry only, and you can see now that yes, it does indeed have like my colors. And this goes back to Greg's question: does it pull the colors in the AMS? It sure does. So what we can do here is much like Bamboo Lab, where the filament you just
select the
resync.
objects and change it.
Yeah, so I resunk my so up here on the filament, I resunk my filament list from the AMS. So the colors we see now on this thing are the colors that are actually in my AMS. So I have blue, green, purple, and black in my AMS. So like obviously if I was going to print it, I might change it. But yeah, it does have the same options. So if I come back here and I go, I want my stars not to be in purple. I want them to be in like black. I can come in here, select them all, right click, and then select a different filament. So just for fun, I'll pick generic PLA and see it changes the snowflakes to white. White. The reason it gives you 5 on the bamboo slicer is because you can have that external spool, but I don't use that. So
you can't use external.
No, with
if
the
you're using
actual
the
AMS. But that's why they have the other option if you unplug it.
Yeah.
And just leave like the connection in. So like I'm gonna still make these. I think they were purple, so let's just leave it at purple. So like syncing to the AMS is possible in the Bamboo Lab. So as if I again take away once I change the printer type, it changes and I get like the Bamboo Lab calibration and like all the device stuff, right? Like I can start the cameras, I can start the I can start like the light, I can do all that stuff from Orca. So it also the nice thing with Orca Slicer, much like Bamboo Studio, is it will once you sign into your account, it saves those custom printer settings too. So once I sign in and I make a change, so I'm going to do an example here for us. So we have a Creality K1C, but one thing that Orca and Bamboo and Creality all do is try to put a brim on everything. Everything gets a brim.
Oh, the auto brim.
And I hate it. So I turn it off.
I turn that off too.
And then I saved it as a custom printer, which is this K1C copy. So now my K1C, I do have the networking all hooked up to it. So you can see that I've actually used, I unlocked the firmware on the printer so that it can use Clipper. Excuse me, sorry. So if I wanted to browse to the device, I can now. Maybe my IP changed again, which it probably did. Sorry, I just switched everything. So you can see too that if I switch between printers, if it doesn't have an AMS, then it flattens the STL into one color again. Now the cool part, and the reason this is called demystifying, just need another drink, sorry guys, is out of the box. Out of the box. Orca, Bamboo Slicer, Creality Slicer, they will all do great jobs for their printers.
Yep.
Reality,
I
right?
I really enjoyed bamboo with my bamboo.
And here's the thing, I do too, but Orca Slicer is bamboo slicer. It has all the same feature sets and a few more. So like Orca exists because somebody wanted more features, more settings, so they added more settings into Orca, and sliced or cloned it from
Yeah.
the repository and then made a new one, right? So, but like
Didn't Orca originally start out with cloning not bamboo but cloning Prusa?
I don't think there was a version before that, but I could be wrong. I
And
do
then
know,
and then
however,
when bamboo came out, they're like, oh, we like this one. This is more like in line with what we're doing anyway. So
I'm not willing to put my statement behind that because
okay.
as far as I know, it's always been. Let me see if I can look back in the.
Well, which was the other one? Because there was another one that was a clone.
So if I go back, that's version 2. Super Slicer is probably
Uh,
the one you're thinking of. Super Slicer was a fork
yeah,
of
yeah, of Prusa.
Prusa Slicer.
Yeah, that's
But
the one I was
as far
thinking.
as I know, Orca has always been a fork of
Yeah, yeah.
bamboo. Now,
Okay. Yeah, I
one
was
thing
thinking
to note,
Super Slicer.
Super Slicer. One thing to note, if you do Google Orca Slicer does not have a website. Okay,
They probably just have a GitHub,
they
right?
have a GitHub, but there is a website out there called the Orca Slicer download floating around. It's been out for a while. I don't actually know if it's uh, good or bad. I know I wouldn't use it because it doesn't act like it's not the team from Orca Slicer. It was just some people that made it and then put the installers up on the website. So to me, I'd rather go to the GitHub for one. And if the author hasn't made the website, then it's very hard for like me to trust the website too. But that being said, Orca Slicer is a fork and a great fork of Bamboo Studio that has all the features of Bamboo, plus the features of other like more features from Creality and beta features like that. Um, the other positive thing from Orca Slicer is the printer support. As I mentioned, there's more in there, but the other neat thing about Orca Slicer is the fact that there's very little work that a person has to know to print in it. You don't have to be a professional. You
And
can click.
this is more universal for all printers is the other selling point, right? Because even
Mhm.
though you can add other printers to bamboo
Yeah.
and whatnot, this one has a lot preloaded that are more than bamboo has, correct?
Yeah, this one has many more. Again, that's all up in the printer setting widget up here. Um, I clicked it, so it's probably a little bit frozen right now.
Yeah,
The
so I mean
dialog box is
that could be an
opening.
advantage. Like if you run a fleet of printers that are a mixture of Creality,
Mm,
bamboo, and whatever other
yeah,
you
and
know what any
if you have,
cubic or
yeah, if
whatever,
you run a farm or Kitty Tech, right, or something, the thing is like
or
the
you just are a 3D printing nerd and have a lot of printers.
yeah, 100%. I'm
I
like
don't know who I'd be referring to.
it's not us. For sure, it's not us. It's us. But yeah, like the brand selection, like my little scrolly finger now is gonna go so much farther, right? Like Creality, even though it's listed in Bamboo Studio, there's tons more printers inside of the Orca Slicer, and it works the same for printer profiles. You can update the profiles as it's open, but like you could anything under the sun. It's a single pane of glass, and you can print now.
And you
Um,
can still do custom and whatnot. The only I think benefit with selecting a printer within Orca would be you would have some preset settings that
yeah,
are probably tested for your printer, whereas because like I said right out of the get go, my bamboo works great with my bamboo slicer. But if you take, let's say, a non-existent printer from and made a custom printer in the bamboo slicer, you're going to have to play with a lot of settings, whereas this, you have a lot of settings already preset that are probably known working for your printer.
And then, so Orca does have very good support for that. It's the printers, the profiles have been tuned, and in fact, like, we can say that in general about new slicers for the most part, but yeah, they just work. Now I'm going to grab this model. Whoa, it's Darth Vader, y'all. So let's download the 3MF. And thank you so much. So here's like the file. So it was a package deal.
Christmas Vader. Nice.
Yep. So let's extract this. And then we'll shrink this. Let's get rid of this. So let's bring in, so you can see here that on the files here, my Christmas Vader comes in 5 plates. Okay.
So does it import the individual plates then?
So if I just do this, it will just load them all onto one. I'm pretty sure it loads them all into one, but we'll find out. But we'll talk about that in a second once it loads it all. Well, bam. So yeah, like, it loaded plate 1. And now we're on to plate 3. Yeah, it's just stacking all on one plate. Yeah. So, but that's not necessarily a a bad thing. Let me delete these. So this came from Thangs, and it was straight from Thangs. So it's releases for general printers. So let's just do this. So plate 1, I'm gonna put my plate 1, and I'm gonna drop it here. And then
that's the one thing I do like about bamboo is if you're doing a project and you need to create multiple parts with multiple colors or multiple materials, whichever, having the multiple plates is a very nice feature.
So along the top here, yeah, the plate, you can add plates to your project now. So like there's the box that is add, so that'll let you import a model. So I could just import plate 2 now, right? And then I'll go import geometry, that's fine. And since I added a plate and the plate is selected, right, like it's right here, it goes to that plate. So then I just add another plate, and then I'll just drag this one in because why not, right?
And so this plate 1 could be all your black parts, and plate 2 could be all your red parts, and plate 3 could be all your white parts, and
well, yeah,
so on, and so on.
And I didn't read the directions per se, but you are right, because the files actually have like the color on them. So like the black, red, white, fossil gray, and then the 5th plate says any. So we'll just add this. Add this as a plate, and then the 5th plate says any. Now there's a warning here, and it is true for Bamboo Studio and Orca Slicer and Creality Slicer. Actually, the more plates you add to a project, the more memory it takes up in the project to run the slicer.
Well, that's pretty that should be pretty obvious.
You would think, but like, you run more of a risk of crashing. So if you're going to do this and this is your project that you want to build, you're going to hit Control S to save disk. Now you can see it's already thinking about what it wants to do with life. So I'm really hoping that it actually like works here. But we will see. Okay, so it saved something. I think it saved it as processing model when I'm object 1. So it probably saved it as this charcoal black file. Yeah. Is it in there? Nope. Let's I want to know where this is, so I'm just gonna go save project as, and then I'm gonna go, yeah, it did save it as charcoal black. So I'm just gonna drop it in the downloads folder, which is perfect. So The models all are on different plates now, so when you use the slice operation, all you have to do with this model is make sure that the plate you want to print is the one that's highlighted in the black edge.
Which is identical to bamboo, the
Yeah.
way it works. So
And
yeah,
Creality Slicer. So, like,
yeah.
again, this feature set is similar. Now, you still have to do the same pre-flight checks by yourself. Like, the slicer will help you out for sure. But you want to take a quick look at this. Now, keeping in mind, we haven't played with any settings. We just had plates. And we go, let's take a peek. Is this going to print? And, like, I don't see any. Like, I'm just turning this part here. So, like, up, up,
Not,
up, this
not
part
seeing,
here.
I'm not seeing anything crazy that would not allow it to print.
Just these arm nubbins, I think, on plate number 2. They look like they're floating over air.
Yeah, but are they 45'd?
No. They are angled off the model, though. So they might print. Like, it looks like they tried to make it print without supports. But, you know what? Let's go read some instructions on the model. It says...
see, because there's an angle, definitely an angle there. So...
as with all of our models, this prints with no supports, it says.
Yeah.
So, and the fact that they took the time to separate this into plates means that they probably orientated it for you correctly.
I really like those models.
Right? Those are the good ones. So if I slice the plate, you can see that now it's slicing just this one. And then it gives me the time estimates, much like other slicers. It's going 2 hours, 29 minutes. You can see that this one does have the auto brim on. So, like, the first thing I would probably do is go in and shut it off. Now, one of the reasons for the auto brim isn't necessarily that the model actually needs the brim, but the printer prints so fast these days
you don't want skinny things to fall over.
Right. So the brim helps those things stick to the plate. So we managed to get the plates in. We have all of our models here, which is great. If you drop this slice, you can see that there's a slice all. And what slice all does is it takes every single plate and it will slice them and
it'll
freeze.
chug for a while.
Yes, very freeze. Very, very freeze.
Yes.
You should be careful.
Yeah,
it gives you the status window here too.
Yeah, when I did the lithophanes, it does 2 plates, one for the lithophane with its little built-in stands, and then one for the actual box. And yeah, if you slice all, it chugs for a while.
Chugga chugga chugga. So the cool thing is like the operation is finished. So it's telling me that the total print time for this whole project is 12 hours, and the total cost based off of whatever the filament estimate was $7. But you can go through and you can click these models, and then you can see like the print option comes up when I get off the actual description. So now everything's ready to print. So if you're ready to just go with a project,
you highlight that one, hit print, highlight the next one, and go.
Away you go. Now, the only reason that kind of sucks is if you have to close your slicer or something, then those don't stay sliced and you have to reslice them. So it's really up to you. I usually just do slice plate too, because I only have like one K1C or one bamboo, right? So, but like this model will print, it'll print pretty good. I don't see any support issues. And again, none of this needed like any intervention by me. One of the biggest things used to be like, oh, I need to generate supports because it sucks, right? Well, that's pretty easy to do now. The slicers here, if you just click the support tab, you enable the support.
Well, and now everything,
pick the tree auto.
Yeah, everything has tree supports now,
and then
which is awesome.
Slice, and then once you hit slice, like you don't have, again, I no user intervention other than clicking enable, and I changed the option to tree. Yeah. Let's see what it comes up with for this plate.
My favorite support.
Yeah, see, tree support. Like the head didn't need any. You can see it tried to generate some around this ring. That's the green stuff here. And then it also generated around the little ball. And that's an interesting one, because anytime you do get a sphere, and we talked about this recently too, like it's
Yeah.
hard enough to print where support's a good idea, because it makes the walls smooth around the curves there. So like, again, the guy's right when he says this model doesn't need support, because it barely generated any. It did put support in the head a little bit. So if I were to
Yeah.
just drag the preview down, boop, you can see that there's a tree support column in the
Yeah,
middle of the
which
head.
you don't need to have that.
No, because like when you look at this model as it goes up in layers, so like as I drag up here, it actually like cones at the top. So like it's
Yeah.
actually going up on an angle that's very, very printable for a printer. So yeah,
And then
again,
it that could be bridged no problem without needing support.
well, I don't even
It,
think it would get to bridge, because
well,
it's like angled
it
straight up there.
it would bridge that flat layer
Let's see
just
here.
before it curves. And
Internal bridge. Boom. Yep. So at layer
so
301, it will bridge, and then it finishes off.
yeah, and it's so like, yeah, okay, you get some of the little droopy lines. It's inside. You're never gonna see it, so it doesn't
Oh,
matter. So
at that far you wouldn't see droop.
yeah,
That's pretty low key. So
yeah,
again, we added support when we didn't need it. So if I take it off, which will be fine, it takes the model preview away. And again, one of the things I hate most in life is the auto brim. So like if I come back
turn
here,
that off.
brim, and then I just change it from auto to no brim. Again, that's nitpicky. So there's only 3 settings you got to remember: enable supports, enable or disable the brim. Brim is great if it doesn't have a lot of surface area. If it
Yep.
does, you don't need it. And that's it. And then slice. The default settings for speed and heat and filament types are all done when you pick like the PL or the material type up here, and then
Yeah.
the nozzle and the printer. The profiles are adequate to print the model quickly.
Yeah.
And with great success too, right? So you can
I'm
see
gonna.
now.
I may have to print this model, David.
I know. Yeah. Well, if a certain wife is watching this one, I think she'll want it for her desk. So it might happen today. So the Vader, it's a cool little model for sure, but like very printable. And I like the way that the plates have been separated, like in the files. So
Yeah.
then I know. I know, like, yeah, this one's the charcoal black, this one's the gray. So they did a really good job in the model making of this, but like also for printability, the slicer can definitely handle this. And when I'm ready to print, like all I have to do is hit slice plate, and like I said, my IP address on the printer changed, so I'm gonna have to skip one step, which sucks. But once it slices the plate and I'm ready to go, when the devices are in Orca, all I have to do is hit print, and then what'll happen is it'll say, "Do you want to upload the G code or upload and print?" And if I choose that one and the printer is working, it would start printing right now. Same thing goes with Bamboo,
But you
right?
got to your printer and showed the camera, so it must have the new.
Well, this one is a different printer.
Oh,
It might be actually 79 now. We can cheat. Let's cheat. Hold on. Cheat. I'm gonna open the Creality slicer. Oh, I bet you it's not on. That's probably why.
it could be.
Let's not change the IP. Let's just close that. I'll turn it. A smart person would turn the printer on before browsing to it. So let's try that. You know.
Ah, yes. Smart plugs.
Just smart plug.
Smart plug to the rescue. I got to get my smart plug working for my Christmas tree.
Yeah, smart plugs are good for that too. It was definitely off. The printer was definitely off. I don't know if it is online yet. It takes a second for it to boot up the controller and stuff. But the printing process is easy. So there's literally download model, import model, maybe look to see if there's an overhang, and then hit print. So like the steps, like I don't know if you remember the slicer videos of past.
Oh man.
but the steps have shrunk dramatically. Like it's not like a 30 minute process anymore. I can bring my whole plate in and just print.
Yeah.
So it makes it easier for me. This could be any IP address now. Let's see. We're cheating. Device, scan ad, and then the Creality slicer will find the IP address for you. 79. It did. It moved up one. How dare you? I don't know why. This one keeps moving up an IP and back an IP and up IP. So now that the printer's connected, same thing. I can go to my device tab. I see the fluid information and everything. So then now if I were to hit print,
Away it goes.
Away it goes. So, and all
assuming
of
you have the
is,
colors you want.
Yeah, and right now that printer has orange, so that's not going to happen.
I mean,
we need
it
red
would be
and white.
Interesting Darth Vader if he was,
he's like a safety Darth Vader to help you walk across the street.
Make him a safety cone.
But so there's basically all the things you need to worry about in Orca Slicer to get printing quickly. The printer support is fantastic. You just need to add one. Honestly, I don't know. I have the other slicers on my computer because they sometimes you like need to find the IP address and you want to be lazy or that kind of thing. But once you have like Orca Slicer installed, there isn't really a need to have any other slicer. It encompasses all the printers.
But I mean, feel free to put whatever slicer you want.
No, they have to use Orca now.
Okay, everyone, start on uninstalling.
Yeah, get rid of them. No, I joke.
Kira's no more.
She's lying. I'm pretty sure Kira's still a thing.
Yeah,
I haven't looked in years.
They're in beta right now on the new version.
Yeah, I would not be shocked.
They're still iterating,
like,
and
so
is
5.9, right? So
yeah,
like,
they're. What's great is all of these contribute to Orca or Bamboo or whatever because of the open source community. So as long as Stratasys doesn't sue everyone out of existence, the community will stay going.
I think they're fine as long as you don't cross them on the corporate side of things.
Yeah.
But it's tough to know. It's just tough to know. But it's our new. So like I said, it's my new favorite. I don't know if Greg's used Orca a whole lot.
I've used it, but it's like I don't even know what version. I probably have a version on here. I don't know. Yeah, I no, I have the Orca MSI tool on my computer.
So, but like it's a powerful slicer. It will replace because it uses actually all of the. You can choose. I didn't show it because it's a little advanced, but you can choose which slicing engine you use as well.
Oh, so you can switch from the
Arachne to like normal Prusa or whatever. Yeah. So it has all the options you need to switch to, and right now Soft Fever is still doing it. Like, so Soft Fever is the person,
the developer.
Or
the developer in charge.
Yeah, and they're still GitHubbing it. It's still a live project. It's like everything though. When you're using the product, as long as you can see active use in the GitHub, you know it's being maintained. If that stops, stop using it, right? But man, we've reached the top of the hour, so
we have.
I'm gonna do a thing that's called like and share, people. So if you like what you see,
subscribe,
hit like, subscribe, dingle the bell. You can find all the information for the contest. Hey, there's a bell. You can find all the information for the contest on www.3dmakeit.ca as well as all of our other socials. You can also head on over to Spool 3D for some pretty sick deals and looking to see what you can spend your gift card on. The other thing is I want to say a huge thank you again to everybody on this list. How's at the top, but everybody else on the list. You guys are fantastic. You literally keep the lights on. You make the websites happen, and we definitely appreciate you for that. We're probably going to do some reworking with the benefits and stuff in the new year, but it'll be great. But for everybody here, thank you for watching. We definitely appreciate you.
Thanks for participating today, Gary.
And next week we will see you with all of your models ready to be printed.
Yay!
But if they're not, you have till 17th. But other than that, I want to say have a good one, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.